Hunting wild boar in the dead of Siberian winter is no ordinary pursuit. It's a real battle, where every step on the snow could be your last. The brutal wilderness pushes human limits, while the beasts, starving and driven to desperation by the cold, grow fiercer than ever. Word came in from locals. A pack of wild boars had been tearing through the winter grain stores, leaving destruction in their wake. We didn't hesitate. Despite the blizzard, we geared up and headed out, not just to hunt, but to defend the survival of the entire village. Join us as we follow fearless footsteps through the snow, face off in heart-pounding standoffs, and witness moments so intense they'll stop your breath, where the line between hunter and hunted is as thin as a thread. In the biting cold of an early winter morning, we knew this was the golden hour to strike. Hunger was forcing the wild boars out of hiding, making them bold and careless in their search for food. Our strategy was simple but sharp. James and the hounds would drive the boars uphill, flushing them out from below. David and I held our positions as blockers along the ridge, the last line before the open snow trail. Just as planned, the first boar broke through into view, right in our sights. David held his breath. 3 quick shots rang out. The beast collapsed the moment it reached the snow-covered trail. A perfect opening. 1 clean takedown, the kind of start every hunter hopes for on a day like this. The snowfall grew heavier by the minute, blurring our vision and testing the grit of the entire team. James wasn't just pushing from below, he was a mobile spearhead, ready to react to anything the wilderness threw at us. When Boar tried to slip through a thicket ahead, everything went quiet for a moment. Boom! A single shot echoed through the snowy woods. The beast dropped instantly. In these brutal conditions, only instinct and the seasoned eye of a veteran hunter could deliver a shot that clean, that perfect. If you think that was one hell of a shot, go ahead and drop us a like. After days of blizzards, climbing back up the ridge had become too dangerous and exhausting. So, as soon as the weather cleared, we set out again, this time shifting our strategy to an ambush near the open forest edge, a spot where wild boars often roam in search of food. Just 30 minutes after James released the hounds into the woods, our patience paid off. The moment the boar burst from cover, David's shots rang out, sharp, clean, and deadly accurate. The chase was over in seconds. Frequent blizzards forced us to pause the hunt, but when the sun returned, melting the ice and drying the terrain, we knew it was time to move out again. James unleashed his pack of hunting dogs into the familiar forest. Trained by elite warriors, they executed their mission flawlessly. Tracking the GPS, James watched as the massive wild boar was cornered by his skilled hounds, while another managed to slip away deeper into the woods. The trapped beast now faced an inevitable verdict. Boom! The final shot rang out, a clean end to the destruction plaguing the local villagers. The loyalty between the pack and their hunter is an unbreakable bond, one that no danger can sever. An urgent alert from James came through. The boar was fleeing straight toward me. I instantly took my position, ready to block its path. The wild boar appeared, the moment its head came into view. Boom! The bullet hit its mark. Boom! This time, the beast collapsed completely at the foot of the hill. Down at the foot of the hill, our teammate Thomas was carefully watching a large wounded wild boar. A wounded animal is always the most dangerous. Its primal survival instincts can turn it into a deadly attacker in an instant. Thomas didn't rush. He kept a safe distance from his higher vantage point. Only when he was certain all risks were controlled did he calmly raise his rifle and squeeze the trigger. Boom! Freeing the boar from its suffering also eased the worries of the villagers. In every battle, calculated caution and careful steps are the keys to defeating any enemy. As evening fell and the hunt seemed to be winding down, a rustle ahead gave away the foolish wild boar. My body instantly went into ready position, steady on the trigger. The moment it appeared and hesitated, that was all I needed to bring down the unlucky creature. Boom! A perfect ending just before darkness settled in. People often ask if we're afraid. Of course we are. We fear the cold, we fear the dangers, but the fear of losing the village's peace is far greater. I pulled out my iPhone 16 Pro and sent the good news instantly. I could almost see the farmers' relieved smiles through the message screen. This mission isn't over yet. Make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of our journey. In many vast agricultural regions across the US, especially in states like Texas and Florida, wild boars cause billions of dollars in damage. With their rapid reproduction and herd behavior, they devastate crops, uproot soil, pollute water sources, and even attack livestock. Today, our team set out at dawn. Pickup trucks rolled forward, carrying experienced hunters and advanced equipment. Our mission? To enter the hardest hit areas and stop the spread before the new growing season begins. At the break of dawn, we arrived at the first hotspot. The biting cold of a Texas winter seemed to freeze everything in place. In an environment like this, every sense must be pushed to the limit. Any trace in the snow is a clue, and any movement could be a target. The morning mist turned the snow-covered dry forest into a deadly arena. When the wild boar appeared, time seemed to freeze. I squeezed the trigger. The bullet struck like a powerful lightning bolt, taking down the target in an instant, restoring peace to this land. Looks like today's start is off to a smooth run, folks. While I got off to a smooth start, on another front, my teammate faced his own challenge. John was assigned to guard outside the edge of the forest. The world was silent behind his noise-canceling headphones, with only the cold rifle stock in his hands. Suddenly, a wild boar tore through the distant forest edge, charging straight at him like a rocket. John focused all his fear into a single aim, and boom! The beast collapsed onto the snowy ground with only a few steps between them. He let out a sigh of relief. Peace had returned. For the sake of the crop's safety, David braved the freezing cold, tracking the destructive beast's trail along the icy hillside. Suddenly, it poked its head out from the bushes. When their eyes met, it panicked and bolted, but it was too late. A gunshot echoed, ending it all in the blink of an eye. One shot fired to keep the harvest from ruin. We ventured deeper into the dense forest. Here, the game completely changed. Visibility was blocked by countless tree trunks, and every bush, every shadow could be hiding an enemy. We had to move slowly, weaving around each tree root, straining our eyes and ears to catch even the slightest movement. Through the scope, a massive wild boar lumbered into our guarded zone. It wisely paused behind a tree trunk, listening carefully. I exhaled slowly, knowing this was a one-shot chance. Now or never. A decisive bullet struck its fatal spot, taking it down instantly. Mission accomplished. A copper candy flies away, bringing peace back to the village. What do you guys think? Was that shot worthy of a masterpiece? Our mission isn't just to guard one area, but to actively track down lone individuals threatening to enter residential zones. Thomas weaved through dry tree trunks, eyes scanning alertly. There it is! A solitary wild boar on the move. We're not getting any further. His heart raced as he locked it into his sights, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Bang! The threat was stopped cold, far from the village. One shot fired deep in the wild, keeping the community safe. Evening had fallen, the cold seeping into my bones after a long day of relentless pursuit. On the way back, I suddenly froze. There stood a hefty wild boar, head down, completely unaware. The perfect final prize of the day. A deadly shot rang out, ending a hunt that couldn't have gone any better. The sun had fully set as we headed back in the Tesla electric truck, closing out a long but meaningful day of battle. From the first shots fired in the biting cold of dawn, to the tense maneuvers in the dense forest by afternoon, it was all for one common goal: protecting the peace of the village. We are grateful for the close coordination of our team, local authorities, and the farmers, those who have stood shoulder to shoulder with us on this journey. These wild boars are not just threats eliminated, they're also a valuable source of food. Some will be prepared and shared with the community who have always supported us. The rest will be sent to processing plants to supply clean, quality meat to the market. Today's journey has come to an end, but the battle to protect the land continues. Thank you all for watching. See you on the next hunt!
In the southern outskirts of the United States, wild boars are not just wrecking crops, they pose a serious threat to people. With lightning-fast charges, razor-sharp tusks, and fierce temperaments, these beasts have struck fear into the hearts of farmers right on their own land. Faced with this reality, Thomas's team set out determined, armed with firearms, modern gear, and fearless spirits. They're ready to take on the creatures known as the terror of the Greenwoods. For them, each hunt isn't just a survival challenge. It's a mission to restore peace to this land. Will Thomas and his crew tame these cunning monsters this time? Stay tuned to find out. Starting out in a dense thicket, Thomas's team held their breath and waited. There was a target fully in sight. Calm and steady, Thomas raised his rifle, locking in on the mark. Bang! A sharp crack echoed as the bullet pierced the beast's body. They dropped on the spot, no chance to fight back. A perfect start to the hunt. But will the journey ahead be just as smooth? Or are tougher challenges lurking behind every leaf and bush? Continuing the hunt, it wasn't long before Thomas spotted a group of wild boars gathered, unaware they were right in his sights. From a distance, he raised his rifle, finger tightening on the trigger. Bang! The shot rang out, sending the herd scattering in every direction. The hunter's instinct kicked in. Thomas didn't miss a beat, unleashing a rapid series of shots as smoke curled from the barrel. Bang, bang, bang. Each round fired in quick succession. One, then two boars dropped amidst the chaos of fleeing beasts. Then came the moment of truth. Thomas took careful aim and squeezed the trigger one last time. A fatal shot pierced through another boar, went down in the tall grass. What do you think? Thomas's skills are sharp, right? But make no mistake, today's hunt was not an easy feat. Elsewhere, Thomas's teammates lay in ambush as planned. Just as predicted, two fleeing boars charged right into their line of fire like walking straight into the trap. Without hesitation, sharp gunshots cracked through the air. Bang! One was hit. It struggled to drag itself forward, but had no strength left to escape. The other panicked and spun free, but it was no match for the hunter's cold, unwavering gaze. The scope locked tight on the target from afar. A decisive shot rang out. Bang! The beast collapsed, sharing the same fate as its fallen companion. Determined to wipe out every last beast, Thomas's team pressed on through the night, moving to a nearby field. Under the cloak of darkness, using infrared scopes, they spotted a large herd of wild boars closing in, threatening the livestock. Bang! The opening shot rang out. Target number one was down. Thomas swiftly tracked another moving target through his scope. Steady and precise bang. The second boar tumbled and went down. Shots continued to fly, controlled and calculated. One by one, two more beasts fell. See that? No matter how thick the darkness, nothing can shake the resolve and skill of a true hunter. Moving deeper into the night, Thomas silently signaled his team to hold their breath. Up ahead, another group of boars was busy rooting around. Calm and focused, he raised his rifle, eyes locked on every subtle breath of his targets. Then came a shot that'll leave you amazed. Two bees stood shoulder to shoulder, almost just half a step apart. Thomas squeezed the trigger. Bang! The bullet tore through them both in one clean pass. Both dropped simultaneously, not a sound escaped. After a long night, the team decided it was time to pack up and head back. Just as the hunt seemed to be wrapped up perfectly, a soft rustle echoed from ahead. A lone dark figure came into clear view. Without hesitation, Thomas raised his rifle and squeezed the trigger. Bang! The shot rang out, breaking the stillness of the night. The beast faltered, then dropped, no fight left in it. The hunt has come to a close, and the team returns with a substantial haul. More importantly, peace has been restored to this land. This victory is a testament to the hunter's skill, seamless teamwork, and the dedicated support from the local authorities. Tonight, the community can finally rest easy.
A strange sound in the woods signals a heart-pounding showdown. Just like many missions before, Team Thomas once again set out to protect the crops and the safety of the villagers. As their boots reached the forest's edge, a strange sound cut through the air. It was not from anyone else. It was wild boars. They clawed and tore the land apart with their razor-sharp hooves. This was no ordinary sound. It was an alarm, a warning that could not be ignored. Now was the time for seasoned hunters to step in and defend the fragile balance of this land. The battle had officially begun. Following the tracks, each silent step moved with careful precision. As he slipped through the trees, his eyes scanned every shadow, alert to anything that could happen. Oh, a wild boar emerged. It wandered forward slowly, unaware that someone was already waiting. In an instant, a shot rang out. The beast collapsed on the spot. A clean, precise takedown. A perfect start to today's hunt. Thomas kept moving deeper toward the area where the beast was last suspected to appear. He pushed through rough terrain, eyes constantly scanning his surroundings. Suddenly, a blur shot out like a whirlwind, leaving Thomas dazed for a split second. Then came the sharp crack of a gunshot. It was just in time to stop the creature in its tracks. A threat erased in an instant. The joy did not last long. The tracker suddenly lit up with a signal marking the target's location. Footsteps rushed forward, fast and focused. All that remained was the stillness of the forest and the sound of tense breathing. There it was, a familiar rustle in the brush. No doubt about it now. The wild boar slowly stepped into the line of fire. One powerful shot was all it took to bring the beast down. Peace was returned to this land once more. At the same time, James' team was deployed to secure the neighboring forest, with one clear goal: leave no boar behind. The latest long-range binoculars swept across the treetops. It did not take long before a wild boar appeared in a clearing, completely exposed. The rifle was ready. One shot, right on target. No sound. The beast collapsed instantly. Everything went smoothly. Another area safely secured. Before anyone could breathe a sigh of relief, the familiar sound of hunting dogs rang out. James sprang into action. His footsteps moved fast and sharp, afraid the beast might slip away. It did not take long. The creature appeared almost instantly. One powerful pull of the trigger, and the beast was down, surrounded by the pack of hounds. What do you think about that moment? Drop a comment below and let us know. As darkness settled in, the footsteps did not stop. James pushed deeper into the heart of the forest. He circled around, searching but finding nothing. Still, he remained vigilant, watching every movement nearby. His patience paid off. The familiar sound echoed once again. A decisive shot rang out quick, clean, and precise. Another successful defense of this territory. Every shot fired today stopped a great threat to the people. Fields were saved from the sharp claws of the beasts. Freedom was reclaimed. The support from the villagers is both motivation and trust given to the hunters. It is this strength that allows them to complete their mission with excellence. Today's journey ends here. If you found it exciting, don't forget to leave a like, share, and stay tuned for even more intense hunts ahead.
No.
Germany, a silent but brutal war is raging. Wild boars are tearing through farmland, destroying crops and livelihoods. Seasoned hunters have taken up arms, stepping into a relentless pursuit that's far more than just a hunt. It's a battle to protect the hard-earned fruits of the land. This isn't your average hunt. It's a high-stakes mission where experience, precision, and courage collide. Follow these brave hunters into the thick of the forest, where every step could lead to a heart-pounding encounter with one of nature's most ferocious beasts. Will they succeed in bringing these powerful animals under control? Or will the wild continue its rampage? Join us on this gripping journey, one filled with danger, determination, and raw, untamed action. The team moved silently, each step careful to avoid making a sound. They reached a high hillside, offering a wide view to survey the entire area. In the distance, a dark shape shifted, wild boar. James raised his binoculars and signaled his teammates to get ready. Nick held his breath, aiming his rifle at the target. They waited, tense as if on a battlefield. This was the moment to strike decisively. A gunshot tore through the quiet air. The wild boar fell. The first victory was won, but the battle had only just begun. Could they continue their journey and quell the wild boar menace? Stay tuned for the next thrilling hunts. James and his team quickly changed positions. They moved skillfully toward a pre-planned ambush site. The atmosphere grew tense, each man silent, fully focused. Less than 15 minutes later, Jake suddenly raised his hand and signaled. Through his binoculars, he spotted a herd of wild boars approaching the area. A gunshot cracked, shattering the morning silence. One of the boars was hit and fell immediately. Not long after, the sharp baying of hunting dogs echoed down the trail, signaling that the target had appeared. James and his team moved immediately, heading straight toward the source of the sound. They hid behind dense bushes, all poised and ready, eyes fixed on the area ahead. The tension was thick in the air. Just seconds later, a massive dark shape burst out from the thicket. Seizing the moment, James squeezed the trigger. The sharp crack of the rifle echoed loud and clear. The wild boar collapsed, motionless on the ground, no chance to escape. Another wild boar was down, ending the threat to the farmer's crops. The hunt continued, but this victory fueled the team's determination. Do you think the shot was fast and accurate enough? Leave us a comment and let us know. After a long journey, the team decided to move to a snowy area in Lower Saxony. Here, another hunting party had already begun tracking wild boars hiding in tall, dry grass. Nick held his position at the edge of a thick patch of grass. The atmosphere grew tense. Suddenly, a massive wild boar slipped out of the grass, preparing for another wave of destruction. Nick held his breath, waiting for the moment the beast fully emerged from cover. He squeezed the trigger. The sharp crack of the rifle shattered the forest silence. One precise shot ended the threat. If he had hesitated even a second, the monster could have caused unpredictable damage to the fields. This victory helped protect the hard-earned harvest of the farmers. On this side, where the snow fell thick and heavy, James faced off directly against a giant wild boar. It stood towering in the midst of the white snowfall, full of defiance. The atmosphere grew tense, almost suffocating. James held his breath, slowly raising his rifle, aiming straight at the target. He knew there was only one chance to end this battle. Suddenly, the boar charged, fast as an arrow. James squeezed the trigger. The sharp crack of the shot tore through the stillness of the forest. Next, Nick had the final target of the day in his sights. Swift as a flash, Nick leaned to the side, reloaded, and squeezed the trigger, determined not to let the boar escape. The shot hit its mark, sending the wild boar staggering. It wobbled, then collapsed into the thick snow. The entire forest fell silent. Only the sound of falling snow remained. A monster was taken down, bringing peace back to this land. Nick stood there, breathing a sigh of relief, his rifle still smoking. One, the fierce battle against these destructive invaders has come to an end, at least for now here. After the echoing gunshots, the fields have returned to their peaceful state. A heartfelt thanks goes to the support of the local community and authorities who made this mission possible. Though this journey has ended, the fight against wild boars continues in many other places. Stay tuned for the next chapters, and don't miss the thrilling and meaningful stories ahead.